A resilient and liquid Treasury market is critical not only to the functioning of our own capital markets, but also to the functioning of markets around the world. The Treasury market plays a key role in the Fed implementing its monetary policy, provides the benchmark risk-free rate for pricing other assets, and finances our government at a low cost to the taxpayers. So last month, when the Treasury market experienced volatility in the wake of President Trump's Liberation Day, it was no surprise that many expressed alarm about the financial consequences surrounding the tariffs. We saw the 10-year yield jump more than 50 basis points, which represented the largest three-day jump since 2001. And as this administration continues to publish policy edicts through Truth Social, a number of analysts have signaled concern that the market volatility is here to stay. Even though we did see relatively strong demand in the Treasury's auctions of 10-year and 30-year bonds following the initial movement in the market, all this uncertainty makes maintaining resiliency all the more important. But growing uncertainty isn't the only reason it's pivotal to shore up the strength of our Treasury market. The growth in existing Treasury market debt has brought new attention to the issue of resilience, and this growth is on track to continue. In fact, the Nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office has predicted that the United States national debt held by the public over the next 10 years will grow from $30 trillion to $52 trillion. Incredible numbers. And they also found that extending President Trump's tax cut for the next 10 years would add $4.6 trillion to our national debt. Let's not forget that for all the talk about my colleagues on the other side of the aisle about the need for government efficiency and fiscal conservatism, the last president to balance a budget and produce a surplus was a Democrat, President Bill Clinton. And as the government issues more debt, it will need investors willing to buy it. And it's important that dealers continue to have the ability to buy and sell this new debt. So in order to have a strong Treasury market, we also need to evaluate whether dealers maintain the capacity they need to intermediate. Given all these challenges, it is critical that we keep taking steps towards improving the resiliency of the Treasury market. That's one of the reasons why I have been glad to see that our financial regulators have undertaken several reforms aimed just at that. For instance, I am hopeful that the final rule requiring the central clearing of eligible transactions will, as former SEC Chair Gensler said, quote, help to make the Treasury market more efficient, competitive, and resilient. In order for that to happen, though, it's essential that the market participants and regulators continue to work together to implement it. We've also seen steady progress on the increased data, transparency, and availability within the Treasury market. FINRA's decision to move from publishing weekly aggregate volume transaction data to publishing daily aggregate volume transaction data was a step in the right direction. And I look forward to continue to explore other ways to ensure that our Treasury market remains resilient for the foreseeable future. And with that, Mr. Chairman, again, thank you, and I yield back.